Hey everybody, Mark from Northeast Bass Fishing. How you doing? And these first two clips, I'm gonna say just watch. I went fishing the other day, and this fish was the first fish that I got in the boat after about an hour of fishing. This is a new lake I hadn't fished before, and I started flipping around these weeds, and this monster just took the line and just took off. And after an hour in a new lake, I had a couple bites of some small fish, and a couple of fish that stole my, the claws off my craws I was flipping around. And then this sucker just almost pulls the pole out of my hand. So here's the closer view of it. This fish weighed about 6.26, I think, if I remember correctly. So it was an over 6 pound fish. The scale was kind of bumping between 6.2, 6.4. You can see I was getting a little crazy there. And I definitely had to do a voiceover here because there was a lot of swearing here. I was pretty excited. But it was just an awesome fish. Biggest fish I've caught since I've moved up here to New Hampshire. When I first saw him, I thought maybe it might be, more than 6. But there he is. He was like 6.2 something, and 6.3 kind of popped up. 6.41 popped up a couple times, so whatever. He was over 6 pounds. Great fish. I haven't caught a fish that big. I've caught some 5s, but I haven't caught a 6 or bigger, in a long time. So that was really, really, really nice. Especially that's your first fish in the boat, fishing a new lake. It's pretty awesome. So as you can see, this lake is heavily weeded. And then I just started flipping the weeds. When I started in the morning, I was, throwing some top water, throwing some chatterbaits around. Nothing was really going on. I had a couple bites from some small fish. And then after I catch that big fish, I said, well, I'm gonna just flip. This was soon after I caught that big one, a little pound and a quarter, pound and a half. And I'm just flipping that culprit water beetle. You guys who've seen some of my other videos, I like that's an old creature bait that they don't make anymore, a culprit, that I like a lot. And I tied that on and started flipping it around these weed clumps. 1/2 ounce tungsten weight, 4/0 flipping. Actually, that's an extra wide gap red gummy hook, and that one was, pound and a half, whatever. Nowhere near, that 6 pounder. So after you catch a 6 pounder, you're just kind of having fun. So here I'm just going around. You can see the lake heavily weeded. A lot of this grass was around. And that fish there, that was a swing and a miss. He took it, ran me into the weeds, got off. I flipped it back in there thinking I didn't really hook him that heavy. And I catch the fish. Now, was that the same fish? I'm assuming it is. I don't know for a fact. But another in that, pound and a quarter, pound and a half range. Just flipping that creature bait around. And the wind was starting to pick up here, so a lot of this sound of me you wouldn't really hear anyway. So I always do these voiceovers because the wind really, really kind of ruins any audio. Here I started throwing a frog. I just chucked the frog up there on that, and I had a few blow-ups on the frog, but nothing, in the boat. That guy I caught, and then he got off. So here's I believe this is the other. This might be another frogfish. That one there that I swung at, one that got off. Yeah, this one I got. After the one gets off, a little while later, the smaller one gets hooked up. So really, it's not a super deep lake. I think 8 feet, 9 feet's probably the deepest I saw, if even that deep. Obviously, a lot of pads, a lot of other weed around. So really, other than flipping the weeds, throwing some chatterbaits around, throwing some topwater stuff, and I couldn't get anything on like poppers, or I threw the spook around a little. I couldn't get anything on that. So the frog, and really, in the morning, that topwater bite wasn't happening. The nights have been getting cooler up here, and I don't think that topwater bite in the morning is really, really, really on. This is the fish where I swing in the, or where, that's just another view of that swing and a miss fish. This must just be the lower view of it. Yeah, this is the. I kind of got those clips mixed in half. That's that fish that I missed and then he got back on. Then I caught him. But it doesn't seem like that topwater bite's really doing anything in the morning. At least for me around here. But as the day went on, the frog bite definitely improved. I could never get anything out away from the grass. You see that flipping bait right there. Here's that frog bite from the low. Even a small fish in that heavy cover on a frog is fun. And I had a lot of blow-ups that missed it, or sometimes I think I'm just scaring the fish out of the way. That live target frog was destroyed by the end of the day. There's that fishy. Yeah, it had like none of that rubber skirt legs by the end of the day were pretty much gone off that frog. I actually just retied another frog on today. That one's about had it. But that was, you guys can kind of see the shoreline there. It's covered with those weeds, and there's that fishy. I need the pliers to get that hook out. He definitely wasn't getting off. Here's, now I'm towards the back of the lake, throwing the frog around. And I just seen a fish jump in these weeds. A lot of fish were jumping out of the weeds, getting bugs and things. So I chucked the frog back there and caught this guy. Decent fish. But a lot of them are that, 1 1/4, 1.5, maybe 2 pounders. There was a couple here you'll see that might be more than 2. And bigger fish to come. But that was a nice frog fish. Here's another view of it. Boom. And as I said, frog fishing, when you're fishing them in that heavy cover like that, even the 2 pounders are fun. Frog bite is so great when it's on. When they're getting it, not missing it, that is. Unlike that other video I showed you guys that I made the other day when I told you how frustrated I was getting of missing the frog. There's that fish, nice keeper. And then this clip here, there's a lot of these clumps around the lake. And I just figured I'd go in there and just flip the creature bait in. Whenever I saw a clump, the rest of the day, that's all. Every time I saw a clump of pads or other weeds, I would just flip in there. And it's just another one of those water beetles, different color. It's like a green pumpkin and blue. 1/2 ounce weight. It's not real deep, so I didn't think I needed a 3/4. Just another angle of that, of flipping in those. You see the clumps I'm flipping. Another flipping fish. So that's pretty much the pattern, guys. It was just find the weed clumps and flip them. Anything out in the middle there in the open water, I couldn't get anything going. I threw square bills. I didn't throw the fluke, which I wanted to do. It was just another view of that fish. Flipping it in there. But that open water, I couldn't get anything going. I thought they would kill the chatterbait out there, but I think they're just in that stuff. They're in that cover, just hanging out, ambushing whatever goes by. Because I saw a lot of bait in the lake. I saw a lot of bait. Not that I could even identify all of it, but different bait fish types. Definitely saw big schools of perch. So I think they're just kind of hanging out in there, just looking to ambush whatever. And the bottom of a lake is pretty rocky. So I think I'm going to guess this is a fish I missed. I flip in there and I pulled it off of a branch. And the minute I pulled it off, a fish came flying out of there. And he got off. Now here you'll see this is going to be the second best fish of the day. This one was like a 3.8, 3.78, I think. This is the best frog fish of the day. So I'm just working all these pads. This shallow, a couple feet deep. Boom. Nice fish. Now at the time I don't know that this is a good fish. Can't really tell yet. Then I see him getting closer to the boat and I realized, well, this is a pretty good fish. This is a pretty good one. And like I said, I think he was I think it was 3.78 he weighed when I checked him on the scale. But I was gonna just yank him into the boat, just flip him in, but I figured he was right there and he had so many weeds around him. He wasn't really gonna get away. But right there, guys, that's the second best fish of the day. So the 628, 6.2 whatever, and the 3.78. Those are the two big fish of the day. Here's a nice view of that fish. I'm just kind of just slowly reeling that frog along the cover. And it's gonna get. I'm gonna pop it a little, and then he's gonna nail it. Boom, right there. So I mean, my back camera the angle could have been a little lower. I'm still always searching for the perfect angle on that back camera. I had it pointed up maybe a little too high. Not terrible, but could have been better. But that was it. There he is. That's that 3.78 fish you'll see here in a sec. And they were just all around that cover. And he was not getting off. There it is. And he was even a little sucked out. That fish gets full, he's gonna be well over 4 pounds. The day was going on, I was getting hot. And that's, you could tell in the previous shots, but I was sweating my ass off. So I just started going around the lake, back to some of the clumps I fished earlier, and I started throwing the jig around a little bit. And the minute I threw the jig into that weedy clump there, that's where I caught the big fish earlier. I catch this nice one. It was an over, 2.5 pounder. I was just flipping the queen tackle jig up in there. That was probably the third best fish of the day, I'm going to guess, from what I remember. But a nice flipping fish. And there was no doubt about it. He threw it in there and he just clunked it. Here's the lower view of that. He bit on the wrong side of the boat. The camera, he's set on the non-camera side. So I need four cameras on the boat to cover everything. But you see that jig right there. It's a nice fish. So a good day. Good day in a new lake. So to me, just being the lake one time, it's a flipping lake. It sets up perfectly for it with all the weeds and the cover and not being very deep. And I'm just kind of going around these weed clumps here, catching another one. I think that might. I don't know if I'm back on the. I don't know if that was on the jig or back on the creature bait. I think I stuck with the jig the rest of the day, just to switch it up a little bit. I hadn't shown him the jig yet, and I figured let me try it and see if I can get some bites on it. I'll know better when I see the lower view, but I think I just stuck with the jig. The weeds are thick, but they're open enough in there that you can get the jig in there, and you're not getting hung up a lot. You're getting the grass and stuff on the jig, but nothing too bad that you can't. Yeah, that's definitely the jig. I think I was using that. I think I started using that. I was using that. You guys saw I did a video on that old that Lake Fork, whatever they called it, that pig trail, the trailer. And here I'm going back to the ramp, and I was like, let me take another cast with the frog. Boom! I throw it back in those pads, and whack. So I was like, okay, might as well catch another one before I call it a day. I hadn't fished over in that corner when I came out. I went to the right. You see the ramp right there. And so I just chucked that frog out, and a nice one bit. Like I said, the frog bite is always fun, even if they're not monsters. With the amount of grass on there, you can see them shaking it all off. It still feels like a heavy fish. But just the visual of the frog is so much fun. And I'm just throwing, that's on my 7.5 foot castaway, heavy rod, flipping stick, ardent reel, 65 pound power probe braid, live target frog, which needs new legs. So here you'll see the lower view of my last fish of the day here. I'd fished for about 5 or 6 hours. It was hot. I was getting hungry. Chuck it into the thickest part there. Boom. So they were nice enough to give you good shots. When they're in shallow water like that, they always make a nice splash. But that was it, guys. So, a really a good day. A couple nice big fish, and I always love to explore new water. This was a nice little lake. 100 and some acre lake, 120, 130, I think. And it was great. It was a great day, as you could just see from the clips. So I'm just going to end it up here and just show you some pictures of the 6.2 and the 4.3. That was the 6.2 something, 6.4, whatever it was. And all the pictures don't really come out great when you put them like this, but But he was a nice fish. It was a nice fish. When that's your first fish of the day, you're doing pretty good. And then there's that 378. That frogfish was a good one too. So a good day. So hope you guys enjoyed it. Any questions on anything I was doing? But it was flipping and frogging pretty much. Any questions, let me know in the comments. And, I really appreciate the continued support. Thanks again. I will see you guys soon on YouTube. Mark out.